welcome back to the second episode of TEDI for the 2025 season. I'm your hostess, Frida.
And I'm Genesis.
And we're really excited to have you guys back. Today we have some very special guests. We have the Latino Student Union Cabinet with us here today. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Keely Miguel, and I'm the PR coordinator for LSU.
Hello, I'm Santa Cruz, and I am the vice president.
Hi everyone, I am Jocelyn Vargas and I am the president.
Hello, my name is Ashley Vi and I'm the secretary here at LSU.
Hi, my name is Isabela Rodriguez and I'm the treasurer.
I'm also on the cabinet. I'm the events coordinator. Yes, I am the events coordinator here. So we just want to thank you guys for being here today to record this podcast with us.
Okay, so we're here with LSU Cabinet and they're going to talk about the 2025 United States Hispanic Leadership Conference. So how did that go for you guys?
I think it was a wonderful experience. We honestly got to experience, I feel like we were not expecting much from this conference. We didn't know exactly what to expect, at least from my end. And we came back with so many good memories. We came back with like a better club, I would say friendship. I don't know. Yes. So it was definitely we had a lot of takeaways. Also, the panelists were very great too. So I think it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I can agree with Isabela as well. It's the first time that LSU has gone to this conference in maybe 10 years. So making that comeback was incredible. There were so many other schools from the Northwest delegation, so Washington, Oregon, I can't remember if California as well. Idaho. So there was a lot of schools from here going over to Chicago as well. So it was incredible getting that experience all together. But more importantly, like Isa said, is the cohesion that we now have within this cabinet. I just feel us being so much more united and together more than ever. And I'm really excited for what the future has to bring for us as the cabinet, but also for the Latinos on campus and for SAU as a whole.
Yes, and before anyone else answers that question, I want to step in and I don't know, because I mentioned the conference on our last episode, but for those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about right now, the conference is held in Chicago. It's for Hispanic students from high school all the way to young professionals. And it's the largest one in the U.S., so there was about 4,000 students that were there. And basically the purpose of the conference is to empower Hispanic students to advocate for their community, to use their voice, to seek for higher education, to seek for better opportunities in their careers as well. So yeah, just to clarify what they were saying about that. How was your experience, Santi? I feel like you had a really good experience.
Yeah, I would say my experience there was amazing. It was one of a kind, just being able to go to first off to a whole new city, across the country. I've only ever been to the West Coast, cities and all that. But other than that, just the conference itself was really, it was one of a kind. It was really cool being able to see people who look like me and who think like me and who are just simply successful in their own way, whether it's through politics or business or other kinds of stuff. And just seeing them telling their stories was really unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, to follow up on what Santi just said, I feel like the conference couldn't have come at a better time. In our current political climate, it can feel very daunting and almost we're losing hope sometimes. That is a very real feeling that I know a lot of people share. And going to a giant conference where everyone is uplifting and supporting, and you get to actually see people who look like you representing our community and working to make a positive change in the world, it just couldn't have come at a better time. And it just renewed our sense of pride in our culture, in our club, and who we are. And yeah.
What would you say was your favorite part about it?
Yeah, I'm put on the spot right now. I think kind of like going back on what Santi was saying is being inspired by all of these Latino individuals. It kind of makes me realize like, wow, we can do this. Like, I should not be putting any limits on myself, thinking that, oh, I cannot do it because I don't see people here locally who are in these top positions. So being able to see that was so empowering to me. I remember one of the workshops I went to, I can't remember his name super well. I think it was Aitlano. He's a businessman, and he was talking about how many Latinos, they get into really good jobs and they stay there because it's already a good paying job, which is awesome, and it's already better than for example, my parents have gone through as first generation immigrants. But they just stay there and they stay stagnant and they don't look for more ways to go more up. And he was kind of just encouraging us to never stop growing and never say no. Especially don't ever be the first person to say no to yourself because you don't believe in yourself.
What do you think some of those barriers are that we put for ourselves that we're or for the reasons that people don't strive for those higher opportunities or those higher better jobs?
So our community, unfortunately, well, at least we're seeing it better now that we're putting a value in education. But throughout time, we haven't really put a lot of value in education, mostly because we are from poor communities compared to our other counterfolks. But now going to that conference and seeing how much they value education and even higher education and advanced, degrees, it creates this new wave of educated students, educated Latinos, and it's really inspiring to see.
Another reason that people in our community tend to stay stagnant is they don't always have the same support at home. If you have a bunch of siblings or you have parents who need you to work so that you can help pay the bills, that's real barriers that young Latino adults have to deal with that a lot of the time our non-Latino counterparts don't deal with in the same capacity. And like Santi said, not always having somebody push you and getting that question, especially as women in a machismo culture of well, you should start a family, well, you should have kids, your husband should work. It is rooted so deeply in our culture, but we're seeing a shift. And like Santi said, by having representation and role models, anything's possible.
So having this exposure, what would you guys say was your biggest takeaways?
For me, it was the fact that you have to actively try to be better, if that makes sense. You have to try to take steps that maybe you've never seen people take before to be better, if that makes sense. In one of my workshops, they talked about how a lot of the times women we hold ourselves back in our own careers. And she talked about make a plan, start with the small things, and really try to actively move forward every day in something that you do. Yesterday we went to that networking event with Jocelyn and another LSU member. Okay, it was 45 minutes, but maybe I learned a little bit that I could use in the future, And so stuff like that you have to try to actively do things. And something, actually, a panel member that talked the first day, what was her name? Gabby? The girl, but something like that.
Gabi Natale.
There you go. Okay, and she talked about being a pioneer, and it's you really have to take those steps, even if you've never seen it done before. But it doesn't mean that I can't do it. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from the conference. But yeah, what were your guys's?
I would say along with that, also the responsibility we have towards our community, because we know how important it is, and we know that we're aware of the struggles our community go through, and sometimes us as Latinos or Hispanics, we kind of want to set each other for failure, if that makes sense. So I feel like really like having that initiative to like create a community and like support each other, because that's what it really felt like for me. The conference felt like a community and like a safe space. Even in like the events, like the mixers, you could like go in and the vibe was so nice because everyone was just being a community. Like we were sharing culture, we were dancing, we got to sorry. We got to meet a lot of new people, and I think it was really interesting to see that. And like that was one of like my main takeaways, seeing like how powerful our community is and our culture, and that we are really like the limits are, this is like so basic, but they're in our mind, you know, like we literally can do whatever we want to do. And it's like we constantly demonstrate that, like, you know, like we always prove that Latinos are like such a great community.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like having that strong community there. How did you feel when we left, like USHLI?
Horrible.
Yes.
I felt like privileged being in this conference with all of these people, because like Isa was saying, like it was such a beautiful community. And I don't know who said this, I think it was Keely. You said like you kind of felt like we were in a bubble.
Yeah.
We were in a bubble because this is kind of like not something that here in Southern Oregon is like the norm. So leaving that felt so heartbreaking, but also like it kind of left me and everybody else feeling encouraged to bring that over here, not just leave it as a memory in Chicago. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to bring it back over here, whether it's within our own little club, within the community, or just throughout the whole valley. We just want to keep on spreading the way that we felt, because community is strong, and without it, like we just can't do anything.
Yeah.
So it was a good reminder.
Yeah.
Something like one of the workshops that was there was using your Latinidad as a superpower. And I think that's really important because this whole conference was about Hispanic people and Latinos. And so how we can add value by being different. Mm-hmm. Like that was, what was the quote? Wait, hold on.
We have the quotes.
Don't worry about trying to fit in. Focus on trying to stand out. That was one of the speakers. He talked about that. He was like, focus on what makes you different and use that to your advantage. Like, you don't want to be like everybody else. And our Latino like heritage, that makes us special in our own way. And we can bring things to the table that other people can't. So like focusing on that and like seeing it as a positive and not like a detriment.
Yeah, I like that.
That was beautiful. So what would you guys say were your favorite speakers or panel, you know?
Or favorite workshop. Or if it was a dance, you can say that too.
We got down.
No, that's not my answer.
I'm really bad with names, but
Me too.
Gabe Salazar. I was thinking
Gabe Salazar was a great.
Look him up, y'all. Gabe Salazar on Instagram.
He follows back too.
He does.
What is he, a motivational speaker?
Yes,
Okay.
and he honestly, his workshop was kind of different. It was just like more like how to present like properly, how to like make a presentation and do it good. But like the way he did it and like the personal stories he shared, I could not explain how like powerful it felt, and it was really nice. He had me crying. I was such a crybaby, but like I cried, I teared out because it felt very motivational. I know Jocelyn and Santi went to that one too.
So my favorite workshop it wasn't like the super empowering one, but it was very interesting to me. And it was the table etiquette class. I felt like I just loved it. It was so much fun. And I know that it's like a tiny workshop in a way, but it does make a big difference. Like if you ever are in that situation, you're not going to feel like left out. And it was also really nice to see that you would think it would be full of like women for some reason. That's what I would think. But it was like a good amount of men in there too. So I thought it was really cool that like everyone was interested in learning. And that might not be something that we were learned as kids, but they taught us there. And that's like, I'm never going to forget that.
I really like that you mentioned the table etiquette class, because I feel like a lot of the times when we're put in those situations, we don't necessarily know what to do because we weren't raised that way. Like as like a community, we were not raised with like the elegant table. Like, no, that's just not what we were doing. But I like that they taught us that, because it makes us feel more comfortable in those spaces, which are usually white spaces, to be honest. Like, and so I really like that you mentioned that, because even if it seems like it's not as big as the other things, like, it is an important skill to know, especially like if you're trying to be in a professional career where that may be needed. So.
100%. Do you want to add anything? Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say this. So there was one specific speaker that I really liked. It was the United States Senator Richard Durbin. He is the senior senator from the state of Illinois. Yeah, look him up. He's an amazing senator. He's done so much for our country. And he spoke about a topic that is unfortunately now controversial, which is about recognizing dreamers. And as someone who falls into that category, I felt recognized and seen by someone at that power. And I know that so many others who are in the same position as I am looked into him and saw his speech and felt inspired and felt seen for the first time in many years, especially now. And it's amazing seeing him lead the fight and advocating for all those people. And just seeing him speak didn't make me emotional, but okay. I know, it did, but it was just, it made me feel really, really happy seeing him there, especially as someone who's a political science major and really loves, getting into politics and stuff. But yeah, it was amazing. I tried to see him, but he had to leave, so it was I couldn't take a picture, but I did get a lot from his speech.
On a side note, Santi is the future president of the United States. Yes, we have him sitting in this room with us. We're so fortunate to have him around. Like, everyone, but like, he's about to be president, but anyways.